Hello everyone, Lid here. So welcome to the channel, and today we get a major patch from GGG. So this is patch 0.1.1 and this is our first major patch, and there's a lot of changes to endgame skills and all that stuff. And I'm only going to covering the thing that I know, and this is because if I don't know, I cannot comment much about the changes, and I also do not want to spread misinformation. So let's begin with the patch note. Number one is the endgame changes. They add 4 new tower maps, which is good. And the Lost Tower now is also revamped. I think this is the one that showed on the interview, where the tower layout now is on the top of the tower instead of the bottom level. So hopefully the area is good, because tower is something that you have to do. So having a bad layout there is just not a good idea. And the next one is for Arbiter of Ash boss fight. And this is not only going to be on these specific bosses, but for now, this is what they can do. And they do also mention over here, they're also going to add these changes to any other pinnacle bosses. So what they do, they're going to give you 6 respawn attempts, which is right now you basically only have 1. So the problem right now is when people already farm this and they go to the bosses, they get 1 shot, they didn't learn anything about the fight. So having 6 respawn attempts, this will give people more times and more chances to actually learn the fight and actually try to be better at the boss fight. And because the wording here is 6 respawn attempts, so if I assume every time you die, you will have an option to respawn. You still have to fight the boss from the start, but at the very least, you now have a chance to learn the boss mechanic. And they also add this on the Arbiter of Ash. I assume this is also going to apply to all the major bosses. Basically, now the Arbiter of Ash is invulnerable for a longer period of time during its emergence, so on the animations at the start of the fight. And they also take significantly reduced damage while emerging. So this is a mechanic that exists on Path of Exile 1, and this is to prevent one-shotting the boss. So basically, when the boss spawn, it will have a really high number of reduced damage, and that will gradually go down, and then they will take no more damage. And the next one is changes to map. Now maps area contain a minimum of 3 rare monster, and the Citadel now appear closer to Secret Refuge. Secret Refuge is the first node that you come into the end game, so now you will see the Citadel sooner. Improved visibility of Citadel on the end game. I think this is the one also they show on the interview, where there is a beacon on the Citadel, and that beacon is visible through the fog of war. So right now, if you want to target farm Citadels, you know exactly where you need to go. And maps now display their biome when hover in the Atlas UI. This is nice QL. And they add new tablets. This precursor tablet will give you map bosses on the node, which is nice because I love the map bosses design on this game. This is more about the adjustment on the map itself, and the adjustment is as following. They increase the number of chests. They also double the amount of monster. They also contain more magic monster, 50% more rare monster. So basically, they increase the density of the maps, which is good. Because right now, the map that do not have any extra mechanic, it feels very, very bland. And the number of maps have higher minimum number of rare monster, and there's a number of maps that have lower minimum number of rare monster. So I think this will depend on which layout it is. And they also have 50% chance to contain essence, strongboxes, and shrines. So this is more extra content, which is good for the density. And maps that are exclusively found in the biome containing citadels now also have 50% chance to contain essence, strongboxes, and shrines. So this is more extra content and more monster on the end game. And the hideout node is more magic monster and few rare monster. And the next one is Untainted Paradise, and this is a unique maps, and it get 100% more monster and 100% more rare and magic monster. So the Untainted Paradise now will have a lot more monster, and hopefully this make the Untainted Paradise better, because right now the Untainted Paradise is really unappealing on PoE 2. On PoE 1, Untainted Paradise is something you're looking forward to. Like the amount of EXP you get from doing that map is a lot. For PoE 2, Untainted Paradise is just very, very boring maps, and hopefully this change make it better. And this is basically improving on the shrines, it's easier to click, and reduce the damage scaling of monster in simulacrums. And this will make the simulacrums easier, which is good because right now Simulacrum Plus 4 is really, really hard. And the next one, they're going to adjust the chance for the map bosses to occur on the maps. And they want it to be 1 every 4 maps, but obviously for now it's not even close. And they basically increased the number of the map boss encounter. But because they increased this, they have to reduce the chance for the Waystone. And also there's a nerf on the Waystone chance on the passive tree. For me, this is fine as long as the map is still able to be sustained. And hopefully it's not introducing a new problems, which is like people have a problem sustaining Waystones. Because right now, I think I can sustain my Waystone pretty easily. This is above to the Delirium random nodes. The delivery boss drop 100% increase simulacrum splinter before it's 50%. And they also nerf the bridge by 15%. And we'll see how this affect bridge, because right now bridge is still having like shit ton of monster, and we'll see how much this 50% is going to do, because they also mentioned on the interview they basically have a lot of error log on the server because there's just too many monsters and there's not enough space. Increase the amount of simulacrum splinter, which is nice. You get more simulacrum splinter. And they also make you able to zoom out more on the endgame map, which is nice because the map is big, so I will prefer to be able to zoom out a little bit more. And the next one is skill changes. We only have few of this. I do not play a lot of this skill, but temporary body armor no longer reduces cooldown of skill below 100 milliseconds. I think you still can blink around pretty fast at 100 milliseconds, but yeah, temporaries is a very, very rare armor, and for me personally, I don't really have a problem with it. It's a chase item, and it's supposed to be strong. The important one is they remove aura attack from the pain offering, because right now the pain offering have the aura attack, but it doesn't affected by the aura. So this is a good clarifications. And the next one is monster changes. There's a lot of them. I do not remember every single monster in the game, but there's a few that I know. The first one is they increase the toughness of the essence monster. I think this is fine. The essence monster right now is pretty easy to kill. They also add a small delay for the essence monster to use their skill, because right now whenever you click the essence, they will just spam the skill, so this is a good thing. And the Forsaken Miner, this is an annoying one. They throw grenades, and the grenades you probably won't see it if you're like in the middle of the pack of an enemy, but they do have reduced damage, and they also they improve the visual. And the next one is the monster that casts Tendon of Death. They improve the telegraphing. Hopefully this one is good. I hate Tendon on monster. And they also reduce the range for the Lost Mancello. This is the monster that's cast Meteor on you, and this is really annoying because they can cast it outside your screen, which is annoying. Now they reduce the range, and they also reduce the visual, so this monster no longer able to off-screen here. And the next one, let's go into the general change and improvement. So now if you own Cello Cell Phone, you can migrate to the main league. And strongboxes also get adjustment. So now it will spawn most wave of monster faster. They also increase the chance for us to encounter research strongboxes. This is the strongboxes that are going to give currency. And the line over here, this is Volcanic Crack, Lightning Storm, Ice Spike, and Chaos Barrage. This is the skill from the strongboxes. They add a delay on this skill, so which is good, because right now you click the strongboxes, you get hit by the skill. There's no monster over there. So in a nutshell, strongboxes is better. Hopefully this makes the strongboxes worth clicking. And the charms now have a visual effect on the character. This is a nice one. And this is the huge one. The runes now able to be replaced. And now you don't have to worry about socketing runes on your items, because you can always replace this. And it's not going to bother you when you want to sell it too, because they also can replace the runes. So this is a huge W on the patch note. This is some QOL. So this highlight on your inventory when you salvage items. Flash with quality now also can be salvaged. And there's a buff for the armor. This is, I think, is a small buff, and they also mentioned in the interview this is like a small band-aid. They're still working on the complete fix for the armors. Don't get too excited with this one. This is just a small buff. I don't think this is going to make that much difference. And this is increasing the chance for Omen to appear on rituals. Then this is really important, because right now the Omen is too rares and it's just way too expensive. So hopefully this will fix that one, and we can use it to craft our items, because right now there is no crafting whatsoever, because the tool of crafting right now is just way too rare and it's just way too expensive. So hopefully this will fix that. So basically Expedition will have a better items, but when the patch come out, you have to use your real currency for it to be in effect. So this is a buff for Expedition, and hopefully Expedition is better after this one, because right now Expedition is a bit too weak. Reduce visual clutter on maps to improve visibility of skill and effect. Hopefully this one is actually make some difference. Edit tutorial for activating your precision buff skills. This is nice QOL. And the next one is improvements to loading time of the world maps. Right now it takes literally 4 to 5 seconds just to load the world maps. So hopefully this change will reduce the loading time for the world maps. And this is a reductions to the revival time for the player. I think this is more for the co-op. And Alpha also now have option to gamble inside your hideout. And this is a huge one for minion player. The reviving minion that die from being out of range now immediately revive near you. And this is really good, because now basically you can drag your minion forward. This will not be a complete fix for the body blocking issues. That's also something they're still working on. But I think this will help the minion player by quite a bit. And the next one is unique item changes. They change a lot of unique. They buff a lot of them, and you can check what unit you have, and let's see that if that gives you anything or not. But I think the most important part is if you see on the end of the sentence, existing versions of the item can be updated using define, or if the unique is not that hard to find, I will just suggest find a new one. But if the unique is somewhat expensive and it does have some buff off on this list, then you have to use definer on them for the unique item to get updated to the newer versions. And there is a lot of bugs list over here. I personally do not know most of the bug over here. But there's a few things like Herald of Ice. This is the Herald of Ice basically still can explode a shatter enemy. Even the weapon that you use it on is not active. So you can kind of cheat the reservation a little bit. There's also Concoction. I think this is enough of the concoctions. But yeah, the list is pretty long, and not all of them is about skills. A lot of them is like on the maps, on the some interactive parkour can be cancelled by using dodge roll, something like that. I personally do not have many problem with a lot of them. So if you have a specific bug that keep happening to you, you probably want to find on the bug section over here if it get fixed or not. And they also have a lot of improvement, like this one is control improvement. I'm not using controller, so I have no idea. And this is also the console improvement. I think the first one is the adding item filter on the website. So this will be will be a nice thing for the console player. Now you're going to have item filters, so you can actually see the maps, because at the end game, when you start to choose your map, the map will be filled with items. So having item filter is a really nice one. And they also add a lot of microtransactions from PoE1. So if you have microtransactions, you can see on the list if the microtransaction you want is already on the list or not. And the last one, they add a map stats tab. Map can take a lot of space, so having a stats tab only for maps, that is really nice. So that's about patch note 0.1.1. So overall, I think the patch note is really good. There's no big nerf, there's no big buff. I think they save it for like a next big patch, which also going to include like the economy reset. But I think they will come, I think, a little bit later on. But for now, all the improvement on the end game is really good. I hope they keep improving on the end game, because right now, for me personally, end game is the weak point of Path of Exile. The end game is the weak point of the Path of Exile 2. So that's all I have for you today. And if you have any questions, leave in the comment below. And if you like the video, consider like and subscribe. That will help the channel a lot. Thank you everyone for watching, and I will see you in the next one.